Tonight, the Mayor's double whammy price hike. Sadiq Khan's facing a backlash from Londoners and even the Prime Minister after the largest rise in council tax and travel charges for a decade.
Affects us financially, massively financially, because we're trying to go out to work to be able to pay the extra money, and then we've got the fuel.
Also ahead, an apology to the family who lost their mother after she was forced to wait more than 90 minutes for an ambulance. The search for the missing couple and their newborn baby. Police say they could be back in London. And how Love Island host Maya Jama changed the life of one designer from South London in just 20 seconds.
I saw it and it was the first thing she wore on there. It was really, really overwhelming and exciting.
Good evening. For those already feeling the squeeze from the cost of living crisis, further price increases are the last thing they'll want to be hearing about. But today, the Mayor of London confirmed he is going ahead with what could be the largest rise to council tax and travel costs in a decade as part of his draft budget. He says a large chunk of the cash will be used to fund 500 new police community support officers. However, those already feeling the pinch are far from happy, as is the Prime Minister. With the latest, here's Sam Holder.
Paying for extra PCSOs, keeping TfL afloat, and funding the fire service. The cost? An extra £38 a year for the average London household. The bills keep coming for Cynthia. She's already struggling. The Mayor's new budget is a double blow for Londoners, with council tax and TfL fares both going up.
It affects us financially, massively financially, because we're trying to go out to work to be able to pay the extra money.
The cost of living means finding food for her 5-year-old is already hard enough.
I have a family, so because I have a family, they have to come first. And if I have to go without, then I have to go without. That's the position that we're currently in.
Cynthia has had to give up her car. It's diesel. She lives in Harrow, which, like all London boroughs, will fall under Sadiq Khan's extended ULEZ. He's urging people to take the bus and tube, but announced today tickets are going up nearly 6%. A Zone 1 to 6 peak tube fare will now cost £6.50.
It's way too much. Way too much. It's already so expensive and so unreliable, so I don't think they should increase anything more.
Where do they expect people to get the money from?
It's not fair. Something should be done about it. That's all I can say. Right now we just have to pay. We've got no choice. We've got to get into work.
When it comes to your council tax, part goes to the Mayor. For a Band D property, that will rise by £38.55, the maximum allowed by the government. £20 of that will go to TfL. £15 to the Met to recruit 500 PCSOs, and £3.55 to the London Fire Brigade.
Well, look, this is the last thing I wanted to do, but the government's refusal to fund our city with the funding we need, the Met Police Service, the London Fire Brigade, Transport for London means we had no choice but to raise council tax. If we didn't do so, it would have meant fewer officers. It'd mean bus services and tube services being cut.
The Prime Minister says scrapping ULEZ would help ease financial burdens on Londoners.
It's disappointing that the Mayor, backed by the Leader of the Opposition, is choosing not to listen to the public, expanding the zone against the overwhelming views of residents and businesses.
Sadiq Khan's ULEZ plans have already been approved. His budget will also need to be passed by the Greater London Authority. Sam Holder, ITV News.
Well, our political correspondent Simon Harris joins us now. And Simon, you broke the news about these rises last week. The government's now got involved, but Londoners are stuck in the middle of a political row again.
And it is very much a political row, with Sadiq Khan blaming the government for not giving him enough money to pay for the police and saying he had no choice but to mirror the national rail fares increase of 5.9%, or TfL would have had money taken away from it. It certainly angered the Conservatives, as we heard there. They accused the Mayor of hitting some Londoners, not with a double whammy, but a triple whammy. Increased fares, higher council tax bills, and, of course, the expansion of the ULEZ coming in August. But it's not just the Tories who are angry. The Greens are unhappy that the basic bus fare has been increased by 10 pence. They wonder how long it'll be before it's at £2. And they're also annoyed that the free travel for the over 60s before 9 a.m, which was taken away before COVID, isn't being reinstated. But frankly, there's nothing any of the opposition parties at City Hall can do about it. There aren't enough of them to block the Mayor's money, the Mayor's budget. So in effect, what was announced today is a done deal.
Oh dear. OK, thanks very much indeed, Simon. Next tonight, the London Ambulance Service has apologised to the family of a 40-year-old support worker from Dagenham who died after she was made to wait an hour and 45 minutes for an ambulance. Victoria Yamfit's daughter called for help last Monday when her asthmatic mother started to experience pain. But after first being told a crew would arrive within 6 to 10 minutes, operators were later forced to book them a taxi on what wasn't even a strike day. Emanuela has been speaking to Anila Dami.
She was a very loving, cheerful person. Like, she would always give, even if she doesn't have it, she would always make sure you come first.
Victoria Yamfit was a 40-year-old support worker for adults with special needs, a wife and mother. At home in Dagenham last Monday, she suffered multiple pains.
I would roughly say 2 a.m. That's when she started really complaining on my belly. My belly. And she still had the flu with her belly hurting and her rib hurting her.
An asthmatic, Emanuela was concerned for her mum and called for an ambulance. She told me they waited for an hour and 45 minutes, by which time Victoria had stopped breathing. Emanuela has a call log that shows she'd called just after 6 a.m. on Tuesday the 10th of January. She says she was told there would be a 6 to 10 minute wait for an ambulance. When it didn't come, she called again.
So when she said 20 minutes, I'm telling my mum, 20 minutes, they'll be here. And then I called them back again, and then the man said an hour.
She shows me texts of a taxi booking made by a paramedic throughout that time to take them to the hospital, and tells me a taxi arrived about 15 minutes late, by which time the ambulance had arrived. She recalls paramedics getting a heart rate, but it was too late.
My mum's a support worker and she always puts people first, and I feel like when it was her turn, she was kind of like neglected in a way. Timing wise, I feel like they could have got there a bit quicker. Maybe if they did, it could have prevented all of this from happening, me grieving over my mum, everyone grieving over my mum. But obviously the NHS has been good to us, like in healthcare wise, if we need help with anything, myself, my family and stuff, so I can't really complain.
Emanuela says her mum's body was left on the floor for 6 hours after she died. The London Ambulance Service says it's deeply sorry for the delay in responding to Mrs Yamfit, and that it will contact Mrs Yamfit's family as part of a thorough review into the response and care provided. The cause of Victoria's death is still unknown. Emanuela has now launched a fundraising page to help give her a send-off she deserves.
I just did that because I felt like she's always been there for me, so the least I could do was make something small.
A family grieving, but also remembering Victoria Yamfit's giving nature. Anila Dami, ITV News.
The 22-year-old man arrested on suspicion of attempted murder after a drive-by shooting at a memorial service in Euston has been bailed. Police were called to reports of a shooting outside St Aloysius Church on Saturday afternoon. 4 women and 2 children were injured in the attack. A 7-year-old girl is still in hospital in a serious but stable condition, while a 48-year-old woman has potentially life-changing injuries. A whistleblower says she was forced to quit as a police watchdog investigator after senior managers allegedly interfered with the investigation into a complaint about the stop and search of 2 black athletes in West London. Tricia Napier says the IOPC dismissed her claim and the witnesses who supported Bianca Williams and Ricardo dos Santos. The IOPC says it absolutely refutes the decision was influenced by anything other than evidence. And every police officer in the country will now be checked against national policing databases to identify anyone who's slipped through the net. It comes after PC David Carrick was sacked from the Met after pleading guilty to 49 charges of rape, sexual assault and abuse. Earlier, the PM had constructive talks with Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley. And that's the story leading tonight's ITV News at 6:30. Here's Lucrezia with the details.
Police launch a major operation to vet every single officer in the UK. Following the horrific crimes of David Carrick, there are fears that other serving officers could have slipped through the net.
The police must address the failings in this case, restore public confidence and ensure the safety of women and girls.
Also ahead as nurses begin another two-day walkout, no sign of a breakthrough in negotiations. And
Goff is there, but against herself.
Emma Raducanu out of the Australian Open, but British #1 Cameron Norrie safely through to the third round. Join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Now, police are searching for a missing couple and a newborn baby over concerns the mother hid the pregnancy from authorities and has been missing since she gave birth. Constance Martin and Mark Gordon were last seen in East Ham around 10 days ago, and police say their disappearance is highly unusual. Well, Harry Fawcett's been following the story. Harry, what have the police told us?
Well, the detective leading this investigation says that they've never had another case like it. He says that the couple concealed the pregnancy in the months leading up to the birth, that they've had no interaction with medical professionals before or since the birth, which might have just taken place 1 or 2 days before they went missing. They've been evading CCTV and essentially living off the grid while missing, not using anything digital, using cash to pay for taxis and for accommodation, presumably as well. They went missing on the 5th of January, their car coming to a halt on the M61 near Bulletin, it burning after breaking down, their possessions being burnt in that fire, a taxi to Liverpool, then to Harwich, last seen on the 7th of January at East Ham. And police say because they're leaving no digital footprint behind, it's vital that the public come forward with information.
They've been using cash as payments, using transport methods that will accept that cash, and also, we believe obviously that will be the same for the lodgings, and that's where our appeal goes out to anybody who would take cash payments and who has had interactions with them in that context.
Now, the couple have been together since 2016, largely living in and around London. They were evicted from their last known address in Eltham in September of last year. Miss Martin is from a very wealthy aristocratic family in the southwest of England with links over the years to the royal family. Mr. Gordon moved to the United States as a child. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison and served that term for rape and battery when he was just 14 years old, has been on the sex offenders register since being deported back to the UK. They say it's vital that people, even the couple themselves, come forward with information for the sake of their baby.
OK, Harry, thanks very much indeed. Well, still to come, we meet the young Londoner who designed the dress everyone's been talking about. Plus...
Hello there! Hello there! What's going on? It's all mirrors and lights. It might be a cold old January day, but here at Canary Wharf it's lovely and cheerful.
But first, break the wall of silence. That's the message today from detectives who are making a fresh appeal for information to help find the gunman responsible for killing a 16-year-old boy almost 5 years ago. Aman Shakur was approached by two men outside Walthamstow Leisure Centre when he was shot in the head. Today, his family have put up a £50,000 reward in the hope it will help find his killer. Daniel Henry reports.
Mohammed's prayers bring him peace, but he's still without justice.
I visit the cemetery literally every single day for the last 5 years, and it is literally every single day because I just that's my way of dealing with it. That's my way of grieving.
His teenage son was shot dead in 2018, and his killing still hasn't been solved.
We're 5 years, nearly 5 years into this, and we're still where we were on the 2nd of April 2018.
5 years ago, a teenager was shot in the face outside this leisure centre. That teenager was Aman Shakur. The family are still desperate for justice. They haven't got the answers they're looking for yet, and they don't understand why. The area that surrounds this leisure centre is busy. They're convinced that somebody must have seen something.
He was 16 years old, he was a child. What was it that he could have done to deserve that? Nothing, as far as I'm concerned.
The police have said that they've exhausted all lines of inquiry. Is that something that you, as a family, have been able to accept?
Not at all, no. As a parent who's lost a young child, I refuse to accept that. Because as a family, as a father, I will never give up searching justice for Aman.
The family are offering £50,000 of their own money to anyone who comes forward with information that leads to a conviction. It won't bring Aman back, but it could help one family to heal. Daniel Henry, ITV News.
Now on to the sad news that Ziggy Shipper, a Holocaust survivor and friend to this programme, died today at his home in Hertfordshire. Ziggy dedicated decades of his life to speaking to young people about his experiences. It was his passion to work with the Holocaust Memorial Trust and educate people about the atrocity. Today was his 93rd birthday. Next to a charity using gardening as a stepping stone back into society. Thrive supports people with a wide range of disabilities, from sensory loss or autism to age-related conditions such as dementia, diabetes or strokes. It's been a lifeline for many who are struggling, as Kaf Okpata has been finding out.
This structure I've built here exists primarily to protect the soon-to-be planted pumpkins.
It's hard to believe, but Max hasn't always been this confident. In fact, he could only speak to people with his back turned to them.
Some versions we've had didn't have this, and I'm currently inspecting the barn.
But after starting garden therapy to help with his autism, he's now a changed man.
I was quite sluggish, quite sad most of the time, but ever since I've started coming and I've learned a lot, I've greatly improved.
What sorts of improvements have you seen?
It's helped with my physical health and it's helped me feel better, so yeah, I've started putting on muscle, I've started getting stronger. I can actually run properly now, so that's something. And if I had to summarise it into the least amount of words possible, my mental and physical health have increased greatly since I've started.
Located in Battersea Park, the Thrive charity uses a process called social therapeutic horticulture to help improve the physical and mental well-being of those with disabilities.
Well, we do social and therapeutic horticulture, where we provide a range of programmes to support people with disabilities and to help recovery with people who've had maybe difficulties with mental health or who are recovering from a life-changing health condition.
Would it be sensible to...
These sessions are run every day with 4 groups of 6 people. This lot are sorting through compost to help grow not just the plants, but their finger strength as well.
I get nervous tics sometimes. And doing gardening, I've noticed that those have gone away pretty much. So any activity where you're using your hands is a good thing, I think.
I've got some red basil.
Imogen is one of 12,000 clients here at Thrive. She suffers from epilepsy and cerebral palsy, but that hasn't stopped her from getting stuck in.
Growing plants, getting your fingers in the soil, does it help with your physical movements? Have you noticed some improvements?
Yeah, I have quite weak hands. Mobility, but it's improved by working in the garden.
Yep. The garden centre is open all year round, and with spring round the corner, these gardeners will soon be reaping the seeds of their hard work. Kaf Okpata, Battersea Park.
That's cool. If you're a clothes designer, getting a celebrity to wear your work is the ultimate dream scenario. But for one woman from southwest London, the dress she designed from the comforts of her bedroom became one of the most talked about items after it was worn by the new presenter of Love Island, Maya Jama, during the launch episode. Sierra Nagiri has been stunned by the reaction ever since, as she's been telling our reporter, Helen Keenan.
It was this 20 seconds of footage on one of the UK's biggest shows
in a brand new villa
that has transformed a young designer's life. The new Love Island host, Maya Jama, in an outfit created by fellow Londoner, Sierra.
All we need now are some islanders.
Fashioned not in a warehouse with a team of people, but in her bedroom.
Everything is done by me, so it's quite shocking when things like this happen because it's on me. Like, if someone has to clean the trash, it's me. If someone has to post the order, it's me.
The 25-year-old lives with friends in southwest London and only knew the presenter was definitely wearing her design when she tuned into the show on ITV.
So Maya Jama wearing your designs on Love Island, what was that like to see?
It was genuinely unbelievable. I was overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. She looked phenomenal. She was coming out of a helicopter. I was like, oh my God, like I did that. And her having all the options to take any brand. There's a lot of big brands out there that she could have worn and she could have got the items for free. And she chose a young black designer who's not known.
Since then, orders for Maya's outfit have gone up by 800%, and visits to her brand's website have risen by 250%.
So you've not spoken to each other yet, is that right? But you are following each other on social media?
Yeah, I have not spoken to her yet. She follows me on Twitter and she released a tweet where she said thank you.
So are you hoping to make more outfits for Maya? Are you going to drop her a DM?
I hope so, but she's already done enough for me. So if she wants more, I'm more than happy to do it.
Did you always want to be a fashion designer? Has this always been your dream?
Yeah, definitely. But also I want to teach other women so other people can actually learn to do it. And it's more sustainable if people learn how to make their own clothes, even if not to sale. So I want to teach other people.
And become a top fashion designer as well, I imagine.
Yeah, that is the selfish reason. That is the top selfish reason. I want to become a top fashion designer.
This small outfit that has made a huge difference to a clothes designer whose looks will no doubt soon be gracing the catwalks. Helen Keenan, ITV News.
A great dress. Now let's cross to Sally, who's at Canary Wharf, where the Winter Light Festival there is cheering everyone up. Sally, what's it like?
Hi Carolyn, it's a bit strange, isn't it? Look at me here. I hope I don't sound too much like I'm in a toilet. It's a little bit echoey. Kind of looks like I'm on telly, and yet I am on telly. Very strange. Get your head around that. Anyway, don't stay out there. Come on in. It's quite busy in here, but it all adds to the atmosphere. Oh, sorry about that. So look, this is one of the art installations, the light installations here at Canary Wharf. Joe, give them a little tour. Obviously a bit of a depressing time, January, isn't it? It's cold and it's dark, so why not have a light festival? And this is one of 22 pieces they've got here at Canary Wharf. Now, if we just come through here, oh, sorry, so do you want to come in? Oh, got a bit of a queue, yep. Oh, next one in. We'll get out in a sec. Oh, no, there's another one. Do come. Oh, no, thank you very much. We got there. This is Pippa. Pippa, thank you so much for talking to us. Now, Pippa has helped set this up. Tell me, what does this stand for, this crazy piece?
So this is Emergence by artist. This is Loop. It's a lovely interactive piece with mirrors and LEDs, and it's all about order and chaos.
Order and chaos. I love that. I'm definitely one of those. You can probably guess which. And why are you having this? You've not had it for 3 years, but you finally brought it back after COVID. What's it all about?
So we've not had the festival since 2020, so we're delighted to be back. It's just a way of really brightening up your January after Christmas. You know, when you're looking for something to do, it's the perfect excuse to get outdoors and come and explore Canary Wharf and all of our light installations.
And briefly, if people want to come here, when's it open? When can they see it?
So we're open today. We're open until Saturday, the 28th of January, from 5 till 10 each evening. There's a map you can download at canarywharf.com, or we'll hand you one when you get here, and you can explore all 22 installations.
Oh, amazing, Pippa. Thank you so much. Well, if you're coming soon, wrap up warm because it's very cold. Here's the weather.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles. Car, charger and energy.
Well, these frosty mornings certainly make for great starts. Look at Richmond. Looks like it's snowed, doesn't it? We've got more frosty starts to come and the potential for some ice on roads and pavements as well. It's mostly dry, but you could get a wintry shower, and that just could add to the risk of ice. I nearly went flying on a frozen puddle today, so do take care. It's staying cold, but we have got some nice sunny spells around to just about make up for it. So let's take a look at the detail for tonight. With that sun long gone, the temperatures plummeting again. So cold, widespread frost tonight. I've mentioned the ice already. Watch out for that just in case there is any. And the temperature's coming down to -3 or -5. That's in the towns and cities, so even colder in the countryside. So Thursday kicks off to another really chilly start. That frost hanging around for a bit of time. But the good news is we have got that winter sunshine heading our way once again. There'll be a bit of cloud coming and going and pretty dry, as you can see. Just the outside chance, as I mentioned, of a bit of rain or maybe a bit of sleet or snow here or there. Our temperatures again really cold, light winds, but still only getting up to 3 to 5 degrees. If you've got plans in the evening, note still staying cold, but again, it should be pretty dry, that frost setting in early. Now, the all-important outlook, not a huge amount of change. We hold on to quite a lot of bright weather. The temperature's cold at day, at night time, still these sharp frosts heading our way. And we thought it might warm up as we went through to the weekend, but it's looking like it's going to take a little bit longer. Probably get a bit cloudier though. That's it for now. I shall see you later on from us all here at Canary Wharf. Have a great evening.
ITV London Weekday Weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles.
Well, we're back with the late news just after ITV News at 10. Coming up, Lucrezia has the ITV Evening News. But from me and the rest of the London team, bye-bye.